This week on This Might Get Real, Grace and I chat all things Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 2. Andy barely gets a word in, but let me tell you what, Mary has a few choice words to say. Also, we meet all the other queens on Drag Race season 16. Oh, honey, there are titties. There are political messages. There are a lot of things to talk about. Let's get into it.
This might get weird.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Well, then cheers, Grace Helbig.
Cheers, Mamrie Hart.
Welcome, everybody, to the second episode of This Might Get Real.
Woo-woo.
I love it. Some people suggested, they were like, you guys should say This Might Get Real together because the intro still says This Might Get Weird.
Oh, yeah.
We probably won't do that before this week goes up, but
No, maybe eventually we'll forget about it and then we'll get reminded and then maybe we'll do it.
I loved all the responses from people. We talked about this a little bit on Wednesday, but people even going, I don't watch reality TV, but I guess I'll start, or I'm not even going to start. I'm just going to turn you guys on while I wash dishes.
I love the honesty and the support. We'll take it. That won't take away from the fact that we will emphatically talk about the details of shows that you're not watching.
Yeah. But also we're going to encourage you to watch ones as we start them. I get it. Like if you don't watch Salt Lake City and we're going to chat about the second episode of the reunion today, then like you don't have to catch up. That's like being like, want to join my book club? It's next week. We read War and Peace. But Drag Race, we're talking second episode. You can hop on.
Yeah, now is the time to get into Drag Race season 16. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
My general feeling, not as strong as last week's episode.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Still entertaining nonetheless.
Yes.
Lots of good queens in the mix. But I thought last week's episode, I don't know, it had a little bit more impact to me. But
you know why?
Huh.
Because of Q's puppet routine.
That puppet routine was so stupid.
It's haunting me.
I love it.
Yeah, there was not one. Okay. I mean, great. Okay.
Let's get into it.
I mean, like overall, the big headlines of that episode are about the actual talent show. I don't remember much before that.
The big takeaway for me, especially on Twitter, is that the internet does not like Plain Jane. The internet does not like her snark and her sass. And I was talking to Tim last night and he was shocked to hear that because he's like not on social media at all. And I was like, Tim, the caucus is in an uproar about her sass. They want her to be humbled real quick.
Well, okay, I will say of all the talking head interviews, okay, like we had some sassiness. Obviously, Q and others were sassy in the first episode, but like Plain Jane
she
was
came
kind of mean.
Tim and I were talking. I was like, that's a hateful person.
Yeah.
Or just like, that is someone playing the role that came in to play the part of a hateful bitch. The way that she tilts her head down and looks up like through her eyebrows at people is like cartoon level villain. And I'm like, she, in between the words she's saying, you can just see her eyes scanning and judging every ounce of the person in front of her. And you're just like, I'm like afraid of the hate that's coming out of her.
I will say, if I had to vote one person on this season that I wouldn't want to run into because I'd be nervous that I would get a read, even if I wasn't asking for it. Okay. I rewatched the talent show.
Yes.
Again, we'll get into all the details.
The Queen Choice Awards.
But what I will say is, and I have thoughts on it, there was the performance that was just lip syncing to what's going on for non-blondes to like protect queer art.
Protect queer art. Yes.
Okay.
That's from Megami.
That's from Megami. But we'll talk about that. However, speaking of Plain Jane, afterwards, Plain Jane just goes, but is this art we should be protecting? And I was like, no, you didn't.
But she's good TV.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She is doing your hatred of her hatred is exactly what she wants.
You have to have a villain.
Yeah.
And I don't think the first week really had a villain.
No, not that it stood out. No, they talked about the idea of, using the Rate a Queen system for evil instead of like, with integrity.
Well, Plain Jane did.
I know. She came in and she did what the producers want someone to do, which is fuck shit up. And she also came in just like as much as I'm like scared of her shade in a way, I also find her stupidity wonderful.
Well, when I was not digging on Plain Jane whatsoever until she came out and did her talent show Burger Finger.
I see, even Burger Finger for me, I was like, oh, this is funny. This is campy drag. Everyone's like, oh, we got a low budget Jimbo on our hands.
Oh, because of the titties?
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, the biggest surprise of this episode was that Plain Jane wasn't a highbrow Katya, but like a bad Jimbo impersonator.
Oh, okay. I got to get on the Twitter because
Twitter is like, ooh, at least the tweets that I saw in my feed, they are, but I will say, her coming out as like a Russian ice princess and then revealing a Boston bimbo underneath of it I love that. That was so dumb. You did not understand the connection necessarily.
Yeah. I definitely was surprised with her humor because when someone comes out with that much attitude, you expect they're just a looks queen.
Yeah.
But Burger Finger, okay, yes, I understand the insane boobies that were on her is very Jimbo coded.
Yeah.
But the actual song like really made Rue laugh.
Oh, totally. Like, when you get Rue going, then you know like, oh, she loves this queen.
When Rue says, "Oh my God," then you know it's funny.
Yeah.
Is it about butthole finger?
No, she explained that it's about she was eating a burger and sniffed her finger. But is that, I don't know, is there a subtext that I don't know?
I thought the subtext was sticking a finger in someone's butt.
Oh, could be. See, that's art, baby. That makes you think.
What does it say about me that that's what I took away from it?
Queer art.
Queer, yeah. I love Plain Jane is like, do we need to protect that? Oh, let me do a song called Burger Finger.
And I'm going to pour ketchup and mustard on my tits for 5 hours afterwards.
Who is your, gut reactions?
Yeah. Nymphia Wind. I love Nymphia
Me too.
Wind. She is playful and silly. And I love the banana theme stuff, but I know she's going to get the notes. Like, can you think outside of this one lane of branding, which I know but that's what her dance that she did, which I assume was like a Taiwanese dance, was beautiful.
Well, that's what I was very surprised about. Like, it was almost the reverse of Plain Jane.
Yeah.
Where I was shocked to see Nymphia Wind come out and do something serious when she was so goofy before. But let me tell you, when she shuffled into the workroom with the beehive wig with stacked sunglasses, that might be my favorite entrance look of all time.
Yeah. And the best part of it was that she was in character start to finish. When they line up and they meet Rue and they're all like reacting to Rue saying like, hello, welcome to see, like she is touching the different glasses on her wig the whole time, being like shocked, grabbing these. I was like, yes, I love this little detail.
No, I love the banana theme. I think she's so cute and like very clever. I also love that the other Brooklyn queen, I don't know if it was, I guess it's Megami, was like, this bitch is crazy. Like I know she was like, I'm surprised to see Nymphia here. She is insane.
Yes.
And so I really didn't expect the beautiful dance. And it was just, it was lovely.
Really lovely. And I the pressure that she must feel representing an entire country is huge. But she's so silly and sweet and like is in on the joke. I think it's great. So she's one of my favorites.
Oh, absolutely. Can't wait to see what she does. There were a couple of the talent show that, well, two things. There were a lot of, hey, I made a song. Now I'm just going to dance to it, which I get.
Name names.
Okay.
Geneva Carr came out and did one of my favorite lines of the whole evening. Vroom, vroom. Somebody cleared customs.
Yes. Okay. I thought Geneva's song was the catchiest.
Yeah, it really was.
Because she came out and did
Geneva,
like the Mexican heritage.
Diva más Latina.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were like jamming, like singing along. So I loved it. I mean, do I think you maybe should have done more? Also,
I wanted a bigger reveal. She like took the costume off and then kind of just
kicked it.
Like, I don't know if it wasn't supposed to all come off like that or something. She had like a moment where she looked surprised by what happened and then just stepped out of it and then did her like voguing and everything. But I wanted like a big pop hit.
Well, she had such an amazing skirt that she was flowing. There should have been one of those like, and someone grabs the end and she spins her way out of it. Like some big reveal. When people just go, and I just took it off. And now it's, you know what gives me the ick? It's the stepping over.
Yeah.
It's the stepping out. And then like kicking your outfit. That gives me the ick.
Yeah. Just it's like a moment that you wish you could edit out.
Yeah.
Like just get me to the point where you're safely out of your costume.
I want it to be taken off and thrown or something.
Yeah.
It's the stepping out of it that really gets me. But I thought she had the catchiest song. I also thought that was it Hershey Liqueur who did the one about the wig?
Whiplash.
I loved that song.
Le Courgette. Yeah, she I love that she's in the jungle for no reason other than she decided that's where she's looking for whiplash.
Oh, see, I thought in my head, I created the story that she was deep in the jungle is where she found the secret ingredient for this glue.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That was the story I created.
Tim was like, I didn't know why she was in the jungle. And I have a memory of her saying to someone that asked her, like, why is the jungle up there? That she's like, I don't know, bitch. I just decided I was in the jungle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe I'm making that up. But I feel like in Untucked maybe or on the episode, she like said something to that degree to someone. And I was like, that's fantastic.
I loved the song. Also, I could be absolutely saying something incorrect, but didn't Cornbread write it?
Yes. Yeah.
Because Cornbread is in at the house with her. I loved it.
Great. And also, Hershey is a parent. We got that reveal in this episode.
I don't know how many there's actually been. I feel like that she might be one of 3.
Right. I don't remember offhand queens that have talked about this. So like forthcoming, like, especially this early into the season. So
well, because wasn't Hershey's story that they adopted the kids from her sister-in-law?
Or no, her boyfriend's like sister-in-law.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Couldn't take care. So sweet.
So sweet.
And I just think about, which I never have, thought about it, watching it through the eyes of like, your parent is on there and like how magical it would be because
wild.
I mean, I think we've had a couple queens before, maybe older queens who like had a kid before they came out or something like that. But this was the first time to my memory that I can remember like, no, I'm actively a parent.
Yeah.
And they're going to be able to like watch and see me do my thing.
I think it's great.
Me too.
I mean, she's got such a great attitude that I love her. I also loved those V glasses that she had on that had no top frame to them.
What was the point? I loved them.
I thought they were great. I was like, I love that. It looks like I could make it myself, but it still looks elevated and I just really love it.
I adore it. Okay, now, but when we're talking about the song and the dance.
Yeah.
But then like Maya Iman LePage, I don't know how to say her name.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't even her own song. So
she's a stunt queen and I'm worried.
I'm waiting for
Bananas that like, well, she flipped up on a table and she flipped down into a split.
Okay.
But everyone knows her, I guess, on TikTok. She does all these performances where she flips like around, I think she's from Miami. And she has all these viral TikToks of her doing. So everyone knew this is what she's going to do.
But you got to have your own song or something.
Yeah. What did she do? Did she do it to...
No, it was just like a cute song, but it was a female voice.
Oh, okay.
And I really hope that it was... I'm saying the right thing and that wasn't her voice. And I'm just like, it sounds terrible. But that's the one thing is I go, what? I understand if you came out and you did like, I'm about to show you insane like acrobatics or whatever, but every move she did on stage, she would pull out at an elimination lip sync, which I feel like you have to do something in a talent show that isn't just you, you know, like what is, you know, for your life, lip syncing for your life.
Yeah, develop and what else on top of the stunts makes this so unique that it's like undeniable.
And it's got to be a catchy pop song.
Yeah.
Or a high kick through a board.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, like Anitra's, where it was like, that's different, memorable, iconic, instant legend. There you go. Her flipping, like, it had been built up already. Like, everyone knew who she was in the workroom and they'd seen her TikTok. So, honestly, I mean, I was expecting, like, even more than what she did. And, like, Aja has that famous, like, I'm going to pull a split, jump off of a big...
some
piece
type
of furniture on stage.
A block.
Yeah, that was iconic. And so people were like kind of making that reference. But I am curious to see how. I do love though that when they asked how did you learn to do this, she's like, my cousin and I were just out flipping.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so great.
RuPaul was like, you just started doing it? She's like, yeah. God, some people are built like that. I can't tell you, Grace. I know you did gymnastics when you were little, but like I wanted to be someone who could do gymnastics so badly. And my body, like, I went to gymnastics. I think I signed up like 3 times. And every time, first of all, I couldn't do a back bend. So how the hell am I ever going to do a back handspring? And as a cheerleader, like it hurt my soul. I couldn't do it.
It's a big component of cheerleading.
It's a big component. What was I going to say about her? Oh, I've just realized another thing that gives me the ick.
What?
When people on Drag Race like really ramp up what looks gonna be like it's something amazing and then it's a cartwheel. I think cartwheels should be banned from the stage unless they are like the
unless you're gonna clack your heels in the middle of it.
Clack the heels, or like it's the round off before the back handspring. But just
there's
one of those like and big part of the music cartwheel. Ick.
If I have to see a queen do that, I'm backing up before I run forward, and I'm trying to remember which hand goes where. You're watching all of the parts of the brain light up and try to communicate to the body. And it's like, you don't have to do this if it's not going to go well.
It's not going to go well. You know what I think? Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I say this, and right now I feel like if I went outside, I couldn't do a cartwheel.
Yeah.
I could as a child.
Right. I mean, mentally, I think I could.
Yeah.
But my body probably is like, no, you can't.
Well, you need to sit out from tumbling
I need to sit
for
from
a minute.
all of that anyway. But I do love that on the show, once you tune into the sound effects that they add in during performances, you cannot unhear them. So there's always like when they do the cartwheel, like a boom that happens in the background.
Wait,
listen for it next time.
In the song, or like the editors did it?
Like the editors did it. Like the same way they add the rattlesnake sound.
Yeah.
There's always like a boom, like when the queen hits the floor in a split, when they do a death drop. And once you start listening, maybe it's just a high thing when you're watching it too, that I just suddenly dial into all the sound effects and I'm like, the editors are having fun.
I love
here.
that.
It's
so,
great.
I mean, I want a slide whistle. I want all of it. Okay.
Oh, I have something that gives me the ick. I'm going to jump around a little bit in the episode.
Okay.
The SheMV photo shoot in the beginning, when they make the queens have to improvise like that on the spot, it's like, to me, watching adults go to Disney and interact with the characters. And that
that's a great comparison.
That gives me the ick so hard. It's like going to a really bad but well-meaning improv show, and you're just like, I don't like this. And so when they had them, thank God for editing, when they had them do their photo shoot where they're all sitting along the line watching each other too, that's intense.
I know. But honestly, okay, I get it. Okay, when you're talking about a drag race challenge, you know, there's going to be a singing one where like you're not a good singer. And you know what you can do? You can like make it work by rapping.
Yeah, who's
or
the queen that is the funniest? Bianca Del Rio. She's not a singer.
No.
And you know she had a singing challenge.
Right. If it's a dancing challenge and you're not a dancer, it's not the best. You're going to struggle, but you can figure it out.
Yeah.
However, if it's a funny challenge and you're not funny, there's no getting past it.
There's nowhere to hide.
There's nowhere to freaking hide. And that's why it scares me, is because you can kind of like, you can laugh at yourself if you're like, I'm a bad actress, so I'm going to really play up that I'm a bad actress in this acting challenge. But like, if it's improv and you're not funny, there is no escape.
Yeah, I thought it was
gives me anxiety right
for
now.
them to throw them into that
Out of
photo
the gate.
shoot out of the gate, where the other queens didn't get to see what each other did for their ring camera thing.
Oh, true.
And so I was like, oh, that's interesting that they get to. I mean, maybe it's a benefit that you get to watch what the other queens are doing. You're like, I'm going to do this when I get up there.
Yeah, as opposed to being thrown in and have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway, I had to get my ick out there. We didn't talk about Plasma yet, who is so well-meaning, talks 20,000 words a minute.
I think Plasma is adorable. Like, I know exactly who Plasma is.
Yeah.
I think Plasma is talented.
Yeah, they just did a lot.
They did a lot. You know, I don't know why when I started saying the ick so much, but I will say, okay.
It's a perfect word to describe a cringe feeling.
Here's the thing. 2 things.
Yeah.
One, if Plasma is I noticed on the rewatch
Yeah.
that Plasma lip sync to her song.
That's what I was
But
like,
then did the impressions live. Just sing the whole song. You clearly have a great voice, and no one else sang live. That would set you apart.
But that's like the curse too. Is the live singing never goes well.
Well, it did for the opera singer the week before.
Yes, it did. Yeah,
absolutely. So I was in my head. I was like, oh, if you've got the chops, sing this live. But also, save impressions.
Yeah,
for the impression challenge.
Yeah, I get that you don't know
which
how
I'm blanking
long.
on. What's the name of that one?
Match game.
Snatch game.
Snatch
Save
game.
Snatch game. Save it for Snatch game.
Yeah. Well, I get that you don't know how long you're going to last on this show. So if you're eager, you're like, let me get it all out on the dance floor right now so at least they can see what I can do. But on top of that, she was doing burlesque, like taking her sleeves off. And she did a great job. Just, I agree with what Michelle's notes were. It was like,
what were the notes?
It was basically like, you were, what is it, jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing, where it's like, do one thing really, really well instead of doing like 5 things okay.
I get it. And also the reveal. And again, I like Plasma.
Yeah, me too.
I think Plasma is incredibly talented.
She was wearing that
and
earnest. Jan.
I know, clearly loves
robe.
the theater
and I was
kid.
like, but I don't even think Plasma knows that she has a similar energy to Jan.
Well, I think her and Jan probably know each other. They're both from New York and they're both theater kids.
I would assume that,
But at the very end, she does the Harvey Firestein and it was great. But then she's like, I got something in my throat. And then like the reveal is she like pulls off her collar.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, you left us wanting so much more.
Maybe you could do some punch-ups for that routine.
Okay, and now we have to talk about what is probably the most awkward, and that's Nymphia Wynn. No, that's Megami's.
Oh, Megami. Yeah. Look, I think you do what you want to do passionately on a platform that is like, you're never going to get that opportunity again. So I was like, this is great. Do I think it's okay for other queens to have opinions about it too? Sure. But I don't think I would go on national TV and shit on someone using their moment for protest and political conversation.
You know what? Same, but also it is a first episode, lighthearted, stupid, fun talent show. And like no one who was watching Drag Race doesn't believe in protecting queer art.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not, the audience already supports that message.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this would be wonderful at an actual protest.
Right. And I do think that there was room for it to be as impactful as she wanted it to be, while also maybe doing something more with the piece. Like just do it. And I agree with Michelle. I was staring at the poster boards from the very beginning being like,
I know,
when's she gonna go over there? There were also, I think, like flowers on the ground that maybe never got used, and I was like, where are they from? Like, did we miss a part? Like, I'm looking at props right now.
You're looking at props because everyone's gonna go, what's that? What's she gonna do with that? What's happening there? Or like, this seems very serious. Oh, maybe when she starts doing this poster board, we get like a fun joke. She should have had an outfit and like revealed inside of the sleeves or something that said protect queer art.
Yeah.
Something.
But we all know Megami isn't great with her reveals.
We all know already.
When Ru has to ask you what was the reveal in your runway.
Oh, wait, was that the eyes?
Yeah.
Oh,
she
the
was
Pan's Labyrinth?
It's the eyes. And then I was like,
oh no. Megami is incredibly lucky no one was sent home week 1.
Yeah, which I think they all kind of know at this point, right? Isn't this like a trope? How many seasons? I don't know how many seasons this has happened.
I thought it used to be that someone went home because they got the pork chop.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's not definite, so you have to assume.
Okay, well, last week I said I thought Q, Saphira Crystal, and Dawn were going to be top 3, and you were like, oh, but you haven't seen. I don't know if I'm changing. I don't know if after.
See, I would put Nymphia Wind up there, but I think Plain Jane's going to go far, and I think producers know that this is going to rile audience members, and I think she's going to be in the game for a bit.
I wonder if Plain Jane can sew because she is striking.
Yeah,
what appears to be very tall.
Yeah,
and like all of that jazz. So like, in
body, yaddy, yaddy.
in the fashion and those type of challenges, she could really bring it if she knows how to sew.
Yeah. I will say, though, that the lip sync wasn't there for me this week. They did a Becky G song, and it was Plain Jane. And who was the other winner? Was it Geneva Carr?
Yes.
I think so. And it just was like, I mean, that's where you want Maya Iman LePage up there flipping and stunting.
I know, truly. And can I tell you, oh my God, I heard a clip from Willem and Alaska's podcast.
Oh, I gotta listen,
And they show, they're like, let's talk about first week was Charlize Theron, the next week is Becky G, right? And Becky G has like 40 million followers, like huge. Yeah. I do not know who Becky G is, right? Yeah. So they cut to a clip and it's like Becky G walking in and everyone looking excited. And Willem goes, so that was their first acting challenge.
Yeah. I felt the same thing, that I'm terrible with recognizing people point blank.
Yeah.
So I would be like, smile, laugh, oh my God.
I know.
And then have to be like, wait and hope someone says this person's name out loud before I make a peep right now.
Oh my God. I was so like, great. I felt for anyone who is, and they also talked to, Alaska was like, that's because we're old. Yeah. Like people know who Becky G is. But same, I'd be like, if I was in that workroom and Becky G came in and I don't know, I'm not familiar with Becky G's music or person in general, and then we reunite with the other queens and they're like, we got Charlize, I'd be like, what the fuck?
I know. I was like, I would, but I'm of the age bracket now where I did find it interesting that they used to like put their lower third of their queen name and their age. They don't do that anymore. Yeah, at least from what I noticed.
Because they're probably all lying.
Well, they're all 24. Like all I know is that Plasma said they were 24 years old. And I was like, oh, what? And then I realized that they weren't putting their ages below them because it's very rare to see a queen in their 30s on this show.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also, look, hey, people look amazing. Yeah. But as Drag Race seasons go on, people show up with more and more work. And I think work makes you look older.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I said it. This is a controversial podcast. We said that it might get real, and now it's getting real, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
It can age you up. Okay, well, now we know all of the contestants. Yes. I'm so excited to see them interact. I hope they don't play into the week 1 versus week 2.
We'll see. There's already, I didn't watch the whole trailer, but people are already commenting that one of the queens comes for Plain Jane. It was the queen that had the Brazilian butt lift from last week.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? The other queen from Miami.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that she's like, Jane, I'm surprised you won. Or something like that. And everyone's so excited for Jane to get humbled.
Okay, let's fucking go. All right, speaking of getting humbled.
Speaking of no humility, let's talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Reunion Part 2.
Wowie and a zowie.
Here, my first note is so much yelling.
Yeah.
There was everyone. I saw Twitter be like, "Can someone turn down Monica's mic? It is dialed up right now."
It is okay. When you watch, obviously during any reunion, there's going to be moments where Andy is frustrated, but he was truly like, why would I even attempt to make them stop yelling? They are just not going to listen to me.
Yeah, like he's lost his cool at women before, so I feel like he gives them a certain amount of time to scream that they can use an edit, and then he like cuts it off when it's been too long.
Totally, but Monica.
Yeah, so we got a big backstory on her. We got more into the mother of it all. Linda, I think is her name.
She's trash.
People call her, someone was comparing her to Ramona, and I was like, I can see that.
Oh.
That's very narcissistic. Like, this is the kind of person I think they talk about when they talk about like narcissistic disorders and stuff like that. I'm like, and here's the other thing too.
Okay.
Right? At least for me. Mm-hmm. Monica is going into all of these details about the way her mother has cyberbullied her since the show ended. Mm-hmm. The irony.
I know.
Like, and also all of the details.
I know.
What's true, what's not true. Because like they called her out last episode or the first premiere on her being like, I emailed production. I was like, your ratings suck. And then it was like, hello, I'm just asking ways I can follow up on the application process. So I'm like, I don't really believe most of the details.
Don't believe anything that comes out of her mouth. And like, I have no doubt that she has trauma.
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
having such like a piece of shit mother. No problem. You know, and it explains a lot why she's so mean. Yeah. Because that's the energy she was. Yeah. You know, like, I feel like no matter what circumstances you come from, like, you can still find a way to be a good person. Absolutely. But like, she has decided like, oh, that's just how you act to people, instead of using it as a lesson to like do better.
She's got triggers that clearly have not been like figured out for her. Because it's like, as soon as Lisa reacts and then the two of them just yell at each other, because you can see like Heather, at least it seemed from me, and even Angie, who's like, I'm going to let you talk first because you don't listen.
Angie did well for her first reunion.
She did great.
I know. And I'm like meh about Angie. And I was like, oh, she's kind of killing this.
She has done pretty well compared to the way I have seen her like sort of dialed down or confused or like kind of cringy, give like a shady comment or something.
Well, also she's kind of cringy because she'll be very passive. Yeah. And then I saw on her Instagram, like, she's like lighting a cigar and being like, yeah, the Salt Lake Greek Mafia. And I'm just like, ugh. Yeah, and the glasses. Why are the glasses so big?
I don't know. And I wish it was like she's in on the joke of this and this is a bit. I think it's like, I'm going to be a fashion like Dorit type of person that's like serving looks, and like all the gays are going to be like queen, but they're like, please stop wearing these.
Please stop. Also, when this is more season, but I'm sure it came up. I'm terrible. Oh. But like when they were like, everyone's saying that people are saying they have sex with your husband, she immediately it was more like, they're still saying that. It wasn't like, absolutely no.
Wait, what?
So like Angie, a lot of people were like, people in like other gay men in town are saying they have sex with your husband. Sex, yeah. And it was never like, that's a lie. It was more like, you guys are so mean.
Yeah.
But I think she has a cute little family unit.
Yeah.
And she seems together, but she's just, to me, she's just boring.
Yeah, I feel like she's trying to play a housewife when she's probably a lot more chill. And it's just like when you're watching someone, like, you don't have to try and do all that. Like, so like Jen Shah came in and was like, well, I'm Jen Shah. And I feel like some women are trying to like bring some caricature version.
You're not going to get on the same level as a woman who's now in federal prison.
Yeah. Although I do like that they all started saying, correcting the trampoline with eyes comment, and I'd love to be called a trampoline with eyes. I was like, if they don't put googly eyes on like a trampoline in a TikTok soon and do something with that, I don't know what they're doing. But I also love that at one point they were asking Monaco about talking about Lisa's husband John, and she's like, what'd I say about John? And then there was quiet, and then Angie goes, you called him a penis head. And then Heather goes, why would you call him a penis head?
I like penis head so many times. Why would you call him a penis head?
You called him a penis head?
Why would you call him that?
A penis head?
I mean, no, same. I was like, a trampoline with eyes, penis head. This is the best thing to happen to Bravo since a worm with a mustache.
Yes, so campy. And then we got Mary Crosby. Crosby's her last name, right?
Yes. She is the meanest woman alive. She is the plain Jane of Salt Lake City.
Like I'd be really, she says whatever she's thinking to these people's faces. And I don't even know if you can say, oh, she knows that that's what the internet likes, so she's like doing it more.
I don't think she's aware whatsoever.
Right, same. I think it's a bit that she's just like, this is just how I am. And Bravo's like, this is gold for us.
If you don't know that your son who lives with you is married, you don't know how to check Twitter hashtags. Okay. And she was also like, didn't really understand the gravity of, whatchamacallit, Don T, like the account.
Reality Von Teese.
She didn't really understand that. I think what I think about Mary.
I will say, though, she did, I think, do a great job of bringing up the inherent racism in the Mormon faith.
But then she said, I don't blame them.
Did she?
She was like very weird about it.
Well, I think it's because I have always wondered, does this conversation get cut out in previous episodes? Has this come out before and Bravo doesn't want to broach the subject, so they cut out that thing, so it's always awkward to bring it up again?
So then is Mary's church that she leads not of Latter-day Saints? Like, is she just like straight up like Christian, Protestant? I'm really uneducated about this shit.
Yeah, you're not here for religious studies. I'm not totally sure, but Mormonism is rooted in racism.
Yeah.
Like,
they are fucked up.
People of color weren't allowed to join the church until 1978. Twitter was educating. Twitter was saying that she did a great job bringing this up and calling it out. Heather and Whitney agree with her. Lisa says no. And then Lisa goes on to name a black person to Mary's face that is Mormon. She goes, blah, 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 it's Mormon. Like, as an aside to Mary in that moment, that I'm just like, what are you doing? Listen to the conversation.
If you're going to be a part of a religion that has like so many eyes on it and question marks, like you have to own up to the bad with the good. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it is par for the course of Lisa's like tone deafness.
Yeah.
Like, and her like tripling down on the fact that she is a Mormon. Like, you can see Heather's frustration with the way Lisa talks about Mormonism, because it's like, that's not how religion works.
Right.
Like,
no, totally. And also Heather will always be like, yeah, she's Mormon with her tequila line. You're not even allowed to drink when you're Mormon.
Yeah, exactly. And then everyone's trying to warn her, like, your son's going to come home from his mission different. She's like, no, we taught him, we're just not like that. Like, we're just not, like, my brother did it. My sister did it. They came back. They weren't weird. I'm like, they probably were. You just didn't recognize what other people do.
But didn't she also say that Jack is no longer on his mission?
That was a joke.
Oh.
Yeah. I know. I thought that was going to be a big reveal.
When Lisa actually makes a joke, I don't understand. So
yeah,
Jack.
She was joking that he, but the real not joke thing was that he was in California because his visa didn't come through.
That's what it is.
Because he submitted a shirtless photo of himself
for a passport photo. Also, it cut to the clip of them finding out where he was going on his mission.
Yeah.
That gave me the ick.
Yeah.
She was like, oh my God, yeah. Like, why are you crying? He didn't get into Harvard.
No. And
you
then
found
she
out
says,
what country he was going to.
And then she says in a talking head that like he could get held up at gunpoint. And you're like, what?
Are we celebrating or crying because we're scared?
Yeah.
Like, choose a lane. Okay. I was going to say this about Mary.
Yes.
I think Mary likes a shiny new thing. I think that's why she liked Whitney a lot.
Yeah.
And now why she's likes what's her face, the big old
Monica,
liar.
Yeah.
But it like weirds me out when it cuts. I don't know if this was a clip from the reunion or if this was like one of the last episodes, when it cuts to a clip of her being nice to someone.
Yeah.
Like with Meredith, came over and they like, it was nice. And when she acts normal, like, I feel like it's a serial killer, like pretending to be a part of society.
It's
freaky.
I was thinking, I was like, how do they cast this moving forward? And in my mind, I'm like, they should make Mary just a friend of the show.
Yeah, she doesn't show up to shit.
No, let her come to the group functions whenever she wants.
Yeah.
Comment on the women from a distance and leave whenever she wants. Get some footage of her just coming in, calling out women from whatever she sees and then leaving with no consequence. Really.
I feel like you have to come to certain things to get your paycheck.
Yeah.
And I feel like Mary was like, I'll do the trip, I'll do these 5 events and I'll get paid. And then she just went to them and like sat in a corner by herself and was like, I came. Yes. I came to the event.
They did in Palm Springs. Clearly it felt like something had fallen through that they were supposed to do. And then they're like, we're going to go to the park and do like these team building exercises.
Who does that in Palm Springs?
I know. And then Mary just sat in the Sprinter van and is like asking a PA if she can get a latte. And I was like, amazing.
And then a different time she sat in the Sprinter van and had the driver take her to McDonald's.
Yeah. I was like, you guys are getting camp out of this, which is why this show, at least to me, I know a lot of people aren't into Salt Lake City, but it's like camp religious trauma, camp heavy religious racism, camp religious trauma. It's like the weirdest paradox of silly and
so
serious.
Crazy. I would watch Mary watch the episodes.
That's what I was thinking too. Like
don't be on
along.
it. I just want her watching them, and we watch her be like, Whitney's such a fucking idiot.
I also want to be like,
I guess she wouldn't say fucking. She's a woman of the Lord.
Can we watch her do something she likes to do? Like, what does Mary like to do?
Besides be in front of the church. I mean, she like clearly loves preaching and her church. Like what does she enjoy? Because she was real pissed that Heather said she didn't like her house.
I would love for her to decorate someone's home. We
should do it Trading Spaces.
Yeah, that's what I like. She was offended that she couldn't remember specifically what Heather had said, and I think the worst thing Heather said was like, her chairs look like they're from Whoville or something.
But Mary doubled down and was like, oh, I think her calling my house ugly was way worse than me saying she looks inbred.
That is wild.
And Heather is so like desensitized to all of it now that she just sits back and she's like, just the Heather head shake.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you even say to that?
I've heard it all. Okay. Now, a couple things.
Yes.
Do we think when Monica fell at Angie's house, first of all, relax.
Also, she looks back to see where the camera is before she walks down the stairs, falls, then a guy comes over to her and is like, they didn't catch it, don't worry. Like, they're so cognizant of being on camera for certain moments. And then she threw
her high heels
near a toddler.
Yeah. But do you think, so then after that, she claimed that, what's her face? Trampoline with eyes.
Meredith
was like, sue her, take her house. Meredith did look like a trampoline with eyes in that moment because she said that.
Her attorney background, being like, you want her house? You could take her house.
And she hates Angie as evidenced by Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forget she's a lawyer and that makes so much sense.
Yeah, I know. That's why everyone on Twitter was like, oh, that attorney background just came out. Even though she's denying that she said anything like that. I think that's the only thing she said that whole episode.
I said it's a liability.
Yeah. Also, apparently, when Monica was saying touchette, that is from Equalizer 3 with Denzel Washington.
Wait. Like instead of touche?
Yeah. There's a scene that someone put on Twitter being like, for the reference, she's referencing Equalizer 3, this movie that just came out that Elliot and I tried to watch a few weeks ago, but it was very violent very quickly, and I just wasn't in a physically comfortable mood to watch violence. Bizarro reference from that he says touchette to, I think Dakota Fanning is in that movie. I think.
I have no idea.
But yeah, that, because at one point Heather just goes, touchette, what's that? And they just go past it. And yeah, I saw on Twitter that someone was like, here's the reference.
Oh my God.
Here's my question.
Yeah, tell me.
Heather's pulling out all of these voice recordings. I love that Lisa's like, pull it out. We got you on camera.
Like Lisa acts like she fully got the jinx saying I killed them all.
But I'm going, does everyone just record each other when they talk nowadays?
No, I think.
And is that illegal?
I think. Okay, yeah. Here,
I'm just like, is everyone recording everyone on the off chance that someone gets canceled and they can pull out evidence?
Two things. One, I am curious about the legalities of everything because I remember you and I did a podcast a couple years ago, and I had seen a are you going to burn in hell billboard, North Carolina? And I was with a hotline. And I was like, I'm going to call the hotline. I remember the guy was like, well, if you don't want to absolutely die in the flames of hell, you need to. And when I played it, I remember so many people were in my DMs being like, it's illegal to play that. And I was like, I didn't release his name. I wasn't doing it's a prank call, like crank yankers. You know what I mean? But people were being like, you can't record someone without them knowing. But I think the recording she's playing are sent to her from Tanisha.
That's what I mean. Was Tanisha
doing the illegal activity?
That's what I'm asking. I'm like, they clearly have these voice note.
Or is it a voice note?
Right. Or is it like a FaceTime that they recorded and here's the audio? I have no idea. But I've never recorded
you.
I've never recorded you.
I don't have the bandwidth nor the technological know-how to, if someone's calling me, go, let me hit record and now let me answer. I don't know how to use Siri most of the time. Yeah. So like, I would never know how to do any of that. But I'm like, is everyone that's up to nefarious activities and knows it recording each other?
And also, Heather, if you are pulling out all of these recordings and that's like the new status quo, then like next season is going to be weird. Like people are going to be wearing spy glasses.
I know. Well, we haven't gotten to
even though there are already cameras.
We haven't gotten to Monica's burn book yet. That's teased for next week, which I think that's the biggest ick of this week. These housewives are coming to these reunions with props. This is like, whose line is it anyway? Every reunion. Did you see the reunion for, let me see if I get this right, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Sheree brought in a, like, Sheree Times, like a fake newsletter.
Oh my God.
With everyone in different articles and printed it out and handed it out to everyone. It was so cringy and didn't land, but it was kind of amazing the amount of effort put into being like, you got girl.
The Sheree Times. I know. I feel like they keep doing it to where at a point she's going to be like, and I just brought on 2 professional actors to reenact that conversation we had that day that you were denying happened, word for word. Like what? Wild. Where can the stunts go?
And also, like, it makes me imagine that when these women go into these seasons, they know ultimately they will have a reunion that is guaranteed. So are they going into these seasons recording and building all these piles of evidence to pull out eventually at the end at a reunion? Like how much planning
in real time are they being like, I'm going to save that ticket stub?
Right. I just imagine, like, I know, who was it that they called out someone on, one of the girls' trips. They were like, she takes notes about everyone.
Oh yeah. No, it was it's the new New York.
Yeah. Was that it? Yes. Yeah.
It was the beautiful Indian who was always picked on by
that the internet loved, and she rose to fame on that season. They were like, she's recording and writing notes about everyone. I'd be like, I have to do that too to remember and not get called out improperly.
I do that to remember to talk about stuff on podcasts. So if someone was like said something shitty, I'd absolutely do that. Oh my God, there was a reveal, Grace. Or like an attempted reveal. Like these are like burn books and voice recordings. Southern Charm just had their, was it second or third reunion? Watched. But when you talk about like keeping up with stuff.
Taylor brought up that shit about T-Rav.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That was a reveal that didn't land.
That pissed me off.
So to imagine you're in a fight with your best friend because you wronged them and you say you made out, but really you probably had sex with her ex-boyfriend.
And you've also publicly on camera said you don't regret any of it.
And talk to your family about maybe starting a relationship with him. Okay, and that's not a one makeout thing.
And are an openly Christian woman.
Oh God, it's so annoying. But so she pulls out a secret she has had for 10 years, and it was the least landing reveal of all time.
It was nasty.
Because everyone was just immediately like, what? Like, that's not how you get someone to be your friend again.
Did you see Olivia walk by her and call her the C word when they went to break?
Did you see, before the reunion had even finished airing, Catherine Instagrammed a picture of her with Olivia and was like, we're all good here.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That was a million years ago. We're all good.
Spicy.
Well, because when that reunion happened, she probably immediately called Catherine and was like, look, this happened. I was 20 years old. This is coming out. I wanted to you not to be blindsided. And she was probably like, fuck that.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that gross man.
Oh, God. So anyway, we've got one more episode of the reunion.
Yes. I will say this episode obviously gave us the Mamrie FaceTime that everyone had been waiting for.
Yeah, for sure.
Which was interesting and great, and like always fascinating when they go deeper and more seriously into the repercussions of the religion that is interwoven.
It is the thing that sets this franchise apart from anything else, from every other. Everyone can be a shitty friend, can talk shit, can backstab, can bring receipts, but like this is all within the context of like most of the cast claiming to be like a good person for the
or
Lord.
to have left a faith or religion because of the problems within it and are trying to reestablish themselves. So fascinating. I'm excited for props and burn booking next week. Are you going to play something you've recorded?
No, I haven't. No, the only thing I've played that I recorded, was it illegal when I played that man diarrheaing in the next stall, in the next bathroom beside? Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
He said, oh God. Anyway, okay, guys, this is exciting because next week are we not only going to do the 3rd episode of Drag Race and the 3rd reunion, we're going to do the Bachelor premiere.
Bachelor
I don't even
premiere.
know who the Bachelor is. I have, besides Golden Bachelor, I have not watched it.
I haven't watched it way longer than what you haven't watched. So I am eager to get back into it and see if it's probably exactly how I remember it.
Exactly. So let me just tell you a little bit about our Bachelor, who is kind of hot.
Okay. Is it from a previous season? Is that how they normally do it, right?
So yes. So his name is Joey Graziade.
Okay.
And he's going to meet 32 women next Monday night. So that's
ladies.
very exciting. Okay. But I think it said he himself is a 28-year-old.
That man was 28?
I know, right?
That's crazy.
He looks 39.
Yeah.
He's a teaching tennis pro from Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Who stole America's hearts on season 20 with his loyalty, thoughtfulness, and compassion. And before he had his emotional exit, the audience saw Joey open up about his family values and how those closest to him have influenced him, and blah, blah, blah. He says he's looking for a life partner who's outgoing, caring, and shares his love for adventure and exploring the outdoors.
Okay.
So at least he's cute, because I feel like I feel like on most recent seasons of The Bachelor, I'm like, who is this fucking nerd? Truly, every time I'm like, who is this weasel? Like, I would never hit on that person. And once again, of course, most of the women are in their early to mid 20s who are not ready for marriage.
Yeah, that's what I'm back on board with. I didn't want to watch The Golden Bachelor. I don't want to watch emotionally and physically mature women feel heartbreak, but I'm down to watch Gen Z go through a hard time.
We're down to see these women before they inevitably move to LA.
This is why
to start selling fit tea.
This is why Renee Rapp says she's ageist.
I saw that. Millennial women. How are we feeling about the Renee Rapp?
I was going to ask you that on Wednesday.
I think she's hilarious. I love how unfiltered she is. I also love that she's from like 20 minutes away from me in North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought she was like a New York broad. And of course, I'm sure she did like tons of Broadway and stuff. So she was in New York forever. But the only thing I'm going to ding her on, she legit did not know who Kylie Minogue is.
Oh, really?
You cannot be a singer and not know your divas.
Wow. Very true.
I was disappointed. Someone said something about Kylie Minogue and she was like, the woman with the wine, because like, I guess Kylie has wine line.
Okay.
But I was like, no, the woman who had so many smash hits. I'm like, girl, you're a singer now. You have an album.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I'm going to ding her on.
Tell the kids, know your history.
I'll ding her. Don't get a bad rap, Renee. Okay, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Fun as always. I love talking about this shit.
Me too.
So I'm glad you guys are here to listen to it.
And I'm sorry if I said anything wildly offensive.
Yeah, that's a caveat for every episode moving forward. Sorry, and I hope you enjoyed some of it.
Exactly. This got real.
Yeah.